She had promised herself she would never fall again, not after the divorce, not after the years of feeling invisible. But life has a strange way of reawakening the parts of you that you swore were dead. And for Elena Hartwell, 44 years old, confident on the outside but cracked on the inside, the spark came from the last place she expected, a man nearly 15 years younger, with eyes that looked at her as if he already knew every secret she carried. Elena wasn't the type of woman who turned heads in the way magazines portrayed beauty, but she had presence, a quiet, magnetic femininity. Long dark hair that fell in waves, honey brown skin kissed by time, and a body with soft curves shaped by life, not gems. She was beautiful in a real, grounded way, something she herself never truly saw. After her divorce, she decided love was a story other people lived. She worked, she cooked, she slept, she existed, nothing more. That was until the night she met Adrian Vale. She hadn't planned on going out. A coworker insisted she attend a gallery opening downtown, promising it would do her good. Elena went only to prove she was trying. The place was warm and dimly lit, filled with modern art and people drinking wine they pretended to understand. And then, there he was. Adrian stood by a large canvas painted in impossible shades of red and gold. He looked like someone carved out of a softer, more generous world. Tall, athletic, broad shoulders wrapped in a dark shirt that fit a little too well. His eyes were the kind that made you feel seen before he even spoke, deep blue, steady, curious. He brushed a hand through his slightly messy dark hair, revealing a jawline that was unfairly sharp for a man his age. He couldn't have been more than 28. Elena tried to ignore him, but when she reached the painting, he watched her, really watched her, the way men rarely did after a certain age. His gaze wasn't hungry or disrespectful. It was intrigued, drawn, as if her presence stirred something in him. "You're the first person tonight who actually looked at the painting," he said. Elena blinked, flustered. "Everyone else is looking at it." He smiled, slow, warm. "They're looking at the price tag. You're looking at the colors." She felt heat rise to her cheeks. It had been so long since any man made her feel noticed. From there, the conversation unfolded naturally. Adrian asked questions, not shallow ones, but the kind that made Elena open up without realizing she was doing it. He listened, really listened, leaning in just slightly whenever she spoke. People brushed past them, conversations buzzed around them, but it felt like the room kept narrowing until it was just the two of them suspended in some private pocket of time. At one point, their hands brushed accidentally. Elena pulled back instantly, but Adrian held her gaze and didn't move away. There was no mistake in his eyes. He wanted her, and for the first time in years, she felt that unmistakable pull in her chest, the kind that made breathing just a little harder. They talked until the gallery closed, and even then, neither wanted to leave. Outside, the air was cool, carrying the scent of rain on pavement. They walked together, and the streetlights painted gold across Elena's skin. "You know," Adrian said softly, "I didn't expect to meet someone tonight who would change the temperature of the room." Elena laughed, unsure what to do with the compliment. "You are very young. You'll meet a lot of women." "Maybe," he said, stepping closer, "but none like you." Her heart stumbled. She wasn't used to being pursued, especially not by a man like him. Still, she stepped back. "This isn't a good idea." "What isn't?" "You, me, whatever this is." Her voice softened. "I'm not who you think." He tilted his head. "You have no idea what I think." She swallowed, suddenly aware of everything. Her heartbeat, his scent, warm and masculine, the way he was close but not touching her. He waited, giving her space to choose. "Adrian," she whispered, "you're too young." He smiled, slow and devastating. "Age doesn't scare me. Does it scare you?" The question landed in her stomach with a thud. Yes, it scared her, not because she doubted him, but because a small part of her wanted to believe him, wanted to reach out and hold something warm, something real, something that made her feel alive again. She didn't give him her number that night, but destiny isn't subtle. The next morning at a cafe, she walked in for her usual latte, and there he was, sitting by the window, sunlight hitting his skin like a spotlight. When his eyes found hers, he smiled with that same careful intensity. "You again," he said. Elena froze. "You're following me." "I was here first," he laughed, "but I can follow you if that's what it takes." She felt her stomach flip. No one had spoken to her like that in years. He motioned to the seat across from him. "Sit with me." She hesitated. His eyes softened. "Just coffee, nothing more. Unless you want more." Something in her broke open. She sat. From that moment, everything changed. Their coffees turned into long conversations about art, heartbreak, dreams, fears. He told her she had a presence that made people slow down. He complimented the small things she didn't know anyone noticed. The way she tucked her hair behind her ear, the way she held her mug with both hands when she got cold. He memorized her, and she felt herself wanting to be memorized. Weeks passed. One evening, after walking her to her car, Adrian reached out and gently touched her jaw with the back of his fingers. The contact was barely there, but it sent a shockwave through her whole body. His voice dropped into a whisper. "Elena, tell me you don't feel this." She didn't answer, couldn't. He moved closer. "Tell me you don't want me." Her breath trembled. "Adrian." He cupped her face with both hands, warm, steady, reverent. "I'm not asking for forever. I'm asking for right now, for honesty, for what's already happening between us." And before she could stop herself, Elena leaned in. Their lips brushed, soft, electric, lingering. He tasted like wine and heat and possibility. When he deepened the kiss, she let go of the years of loneliness she had carried like a weight. Her fingers curled into his shirt, and he pulled her closer by the waist, firm but careful, like she was something he'd wanted for a long time. When they finally parted, she whispered, "This can't happen." But Adrian pressed his forehead to hers, his breath warm. "It's already happening." That night, she replayed the kiss until she fell asleep, and the next night, and the next. Their chemistry was magnetic, slow burn mixed with fire. The way he looked at her when she walked into a room, how he placed a hand on her back as they crossed the street, the way his thumb brushed her wrist when he held her hand. He admired her, with hunger, yes, but also with tenderness. She was falling, and he was letting her. But the real moment happened weeks later. They were in his apartment, warm light, soft music, the scent of sandalwood in the air. Elena stood by the window, nervous. Adrian moved behind her and brushed a strand of hair from her neck. His lips hovered over her shoulder, close enough for his breath to warm her skin. "Elena," he whispered, "look at me." She turned. His gaze was full of quiet desire, not lust alone, something deeper, something that asked permission while also begging for surrender. He walked his fingers slowly down her arm, leaving a trail of goosebumps. "You have no idea," he said, voice low, "how long I've wanted to touch you." She shivered. He leaned in, kissing her neck lightly, then her jaw, then her lips, slowly, reverently, with a hunger that made her knees weaken. His hand slid around her waist, pulling her closer, bodies aligning perfectly, warmth electric between them. In his arms, she didn't feel older. She felt desired, wanted, alive. Their connection built slowly, breath by breath, touch by touch. His fingers tracing her spine, her hands exploring the lines of his chest, his mouth finding every place she had forgotten could feel this awake. It wasn't rushed, it wasn't careless. It was intimate and intentional, filled with all the yearning they had held back for weeks. That night changed something in her. It wasn't just passion, it was rediscovery. He made her remember she was a woman, not just a survivor. He made her remember fire, and she wasn't ready to let that feeling go. But the world outside their bubble wasn't silent. People talked, friends judged. Her ex tried to reappear. Adrian's coworkers whispered. Their age difference became a topic, a shadow creeping into everything. Elena considered ending it before the world did, but Adrian saw it coming. One evening, he took her hand, looked into her eyes, and said softly, "I don't care how old you are. I care how you make me feel. I care how you look at me. I care how alive we are together. Let the world talk. Let them choke on their opinions. I want you." She didn't know how much she needed to hear that until the tears came. They kissed again, deep, tender, fierce, anchoring themselves in the truth they were choosing. Love, reborn from ashes. Desire, unbound by age. Connection, stronger than fear. She hadn't expected any of this. Passion that made her blush, devotion that made her tremble. A younger man who looked at her like she was the miracle he'd been waiting for. But sometimes life gives you exactly what you stopped believing in. She swore love was over, until a younger man set her world on fire again. And for the first time in years, Elena didn't run from the flames. She walked into them. If this story sparked something inside you, don't leave just yet. Subscribe right now and turn on all notifications so you never miss the next forbidden love story. Leave a like if you want more stories filled with chemistry, desire, and second chances. Your support helps this channel grow. And tell me in the comments, do you believe age gap love can be real? Your next story drops very soon, and trust me, it's even hotter.